Welcome students, myself Professor Ravinder Jain and you are watching my lecture on kinematics part 1. Subscribe and share my channel Physics Rendezvous. Physics Rendezvous is a meeting place for those who love physics, who love nature and who love humankind. Now let us start kinematics part 1. What is kinematics? Kinematics is a part of mechanics. Now next question is, what is mechanics? Mechanics is a branch of science in which we study effect of forces in reference to motion of particles or bodies in space and time. Simply we study motion of particles or bodies in mechanics. There are different branches of mechanics and these branches are as there are two approaches in mechanics and one is classical and another one is relativistic. In classical mechanics, speed of particles or bodies is very less than speed of light. And in relativistic mechanics, the speed of particles or bodies approaches to speed of light. Means the speed of bodies is comparable to speed of light. Here C is speed of light. It is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. This classical mechanics is further divided in two parts. One is kinematics and another one is dynamics. Relativistic mechanics is also divided in two parts. One is non-quantum relativistic mechanics and another one is quantum relativistic mechanics. In kinematics, we will study motion of objects. We will study motion of objects. Motion of objects without considering the cause of motion. This cause of motion is force. I mean, in kinematics we will study motion, but we will not talk about force. In dynamics, we will study motion of objects, but we will talk about force. I mean, force will be there. Force will be there. Now we start with kinematics. Students, now I will discuss basic terminology of kinematics. I mean, there are some basic terms which will be used by me in kinematics. One should be very careful when he is going through this topic, basic terminology of kinematics. First term is reference frame. A reference frame is a set of coordinate system used to describe the state of given particles or bodies. I have drawn X, Y and Z, three mutually perpendicular axes, and this OP is the position of a particle. Suppose the particle is here at this point and this OP is the position of the particle. This X-axis, Y-axis and Z-axis, this coordinate system is our reference frame, and this origin O is the reference point. We will describe the position of this particle P with respect to this origin. So this origin is reference point and these three mutually perpendicular axes are our reference frame. If we describe the position of a particle OP with coordinates X, Y and Z, then it is Cartesian coordinate reference frame. This is Cartesian coordinate system or Cartesian coordinate reference frame. And if we define the position of the particle, this OP, as a function of r and theta, means we are here describing the position as a function of theta. If this theta changes, the position changes. If suppose the particle comes here, then the theta will change. So the position vector OP is here a function of r and theta, and here this coordinate system is polar coordinate system. This is our polar coordinate system. Therefore, these Cartesian coordinate system and polar coordinate system are our reference point, and O in both the cases is reference point. These both are the reference frame. Sometimes use of polar coordinate system makes the problem easier, then we will prefer this coordinate system. Second term is position vector R. This is a vector which describes the position of a particle or body. I mean, it describes the position of a particle. As in this figure, this OP vector, which is describing the position of a particle, which is here, is position vector. So this OP vector is position vector. So this OP vector OP, which is our R vector, and this is here position vector. And this R vector in Cartesian coordinate system can be written as, it is written as x I cap plus y j cap plus z k cap. This is the x component of this R, y is the y component, and z is the z component. I is the unit vector in x direction, j is the unit vector in y direction, and k is the unit vector in z direction. So a position vector is written as. So I write it, my equation number 1. In polar coordinate system, this R will be written in a different way, and that will be discussed at later stage. Third term is distance and displacement. In a simple way, I write distance is total path length. It is total path length. And this displacement is shortest path length. Let initially the body is at this position. This is the position A, and the body moves to another position B through this path. This is the position B. Then position vector of B is this one, OB. Let's see, this C is some intermediate point. C is intermediate point. Then this total path length, we measure this total path length ACB. It is what? It is the distance traversed by the body. So this total path length ACB, this is distance traversed by the body. Now I ask how much body has displaced from its original position, initial position. The body has displaced this much from its initial position. A is the initial position, B is the final position, and the body has displaced in this direction. So this shortest path length, this is the shortest path length, and this is what? It is displacement. Therefore, this AB vector this AB vector, this is the displacement. Let this OA vector, which is R1 vector, is the initial position vector, and this OB vector, which is R2 vector, is the final position vector. I mean this R1, this is the initial position vector, and this R2 is the final position vector. Then from this triangle OAB, we apply a triangular law that this OA vector plus AB vector is equal to OB vector. I mean this OA vector plus AB vector, this is equal to OB vector. And this OA vector is R1 vector plus this AB vector, this is equal to R2 vector. This implies this AB vector is equal to R2 vector minus R1 vector. Here this AB vector is displacement vector. This is displacement vector and it is written as S vector. Therefore AB vector equal to S vector equal to R2 vector minus R1 vector. I mean displacement vector is equal to final position vector minus initial position vector. Distance is a scalar quantity as it is not having a specific direction, and the displacement is a vector quantity as it is having a specific direction. If the body moves in a straight line path, that is, the body is moving like this from A to B. Now here this AB, this path length is the distance, and this is here displacement also. Okay, so if the body moves in a straight line path, then magnitude of distance is equal to magnitude of displacement. Students, can you say here that this magnitude of distance, this much, this total path length, is equal to magnitude of displacement? No. Here distance is more than displacement. We can say the magnitude of distance and displacement are equal only and only if the body moves in a straight line path. Attention! If I write like this is displacement vector and I put it in this bracket. This bracket means magnitude. This is magnitude of displacement. This is magnitude of displacement. And it is not necessary equal to magnitude of distance. Sometimes students think that this magnitude of displacement, this is value of displacement, it is value of distance also. No, this is magnitude of displacement. This is value of displacement. It is equal to magnitude of distance only and only if the body moves in straight line path. Okay, otherwise it has only its own sense that it is magnitude of displacement. And the second is distance. This was the first point. is less than equal to displacement. No. Displacement is less than equal to distance. Displacement is always less than equal to distance. If the body moves in a curved path, then displacement will be less than distance. Let a body moves in a circle of radius r and it starts from point A. First case is the body traverses the complete circle. I mean it moves like this. It starts from A and reaches back to A. Complete circle. This is the first case. Now here, what is distance traveled by the body? It is equal to this circumference and this is equal to 2 pi r. And what is the displacement? Here, as the body returns back to its original position, the displacement is 0. Second case is semicircle. Body moves A to B. Then, what is distance? Then the distance is this, ACB, the semicircle path, and it is equal to pi r. And what is displacement here? It is equal to 2r, equal to diameter, this r plus r. Third case is quarter circle. I mean body moves A to C. Then what is distance? It will be pi r divided by 2. Okay, so this distance AC, this will be pi r by 2. And what will be displacement? This will be the displacement. This AC. It will be equal to magnitude of this AC vector. And AC vector, this is the AC vector, and its magnitude will be r square plus r square under the root. And it will be r root 2. Students, remember that distance and displacement, these two are completely different physical quantities. They are same or similar only and only in one-dimensional motion, or the body moves in a straight line path. Fourth term is average speed and average velocity. Average speed is written as, I write it VAV, average speed. This is total distance per unit total time. This is equal to total distance, I assume here d, and the total time taken is t. So it is d upon t. Students, I have not used the term s here for distance. Since I have preserved the alphabet S for displacement, and as I said, displacement and distance are different quantities when the body moves in a curved path. So I will use a different alphabet for distance, and that is d, and the s for displacement. And average velocity is given by average velocity. So I write it here VAV. I put a vector sign and this. So this is what? This is magnitude of average velocity. This is sign of magnitude. It is equal to total displacement upon total time. Okay, so this will be magnitude of displacement s vector magnitude of this divided by total time t. Students, remember that there is no other formula for average speed. This is the only concept about average speed, and this is the only concept about average velocity. There is no other formula for average speed and average velocity. Here is an example. A body moves in a straight line path from point A to B with constant speed 20 meter per second. With speed 20 meter per second. And then returns B to A. Now it returns B to A with constant speed 30 meter per second. Now it returns back with speed 30 meter per second. What is average speed and average velocity during the whole journey? We are to calculate average speed and average velocity during the whole journey. Whole journey means A to B and B to A. Let us first calculate this average speed. One may think here that the body is going A to B with speed 20 meter per second and coming back to A with speed 30 meter per second. The average may be 25 meter per second. But this thinking is completely wrong. Let us calculate this average speed. This average speed, which is VAV, this is equal to total distance divided by total time. Here, what is the total distance? It is AB plus BA. The body is going A to B, the distance is AB, and then coming back, it is BA. Total time, it will be T1 plus T2. T1 is the time from A to B and T2 is the time from B to A. These two times will be different since the speeds are different. And this is equal to 2AB. AB and B are equal, divided by T1 plus T2. This is equal to 2AB. What will be this time T1? As speed is distance upon time. It means time will be distance upon speed. So this T1 will be, the distance is AB and the speed is 20. Plus this T2 will be distance upon speed and the distance is BA and the speed is 30. So this is 2AB upon, I take this AB common, 1 upon 20 plus 1 upon 30, since AB and B are equal. So this is 2 upon 1 upon 20 plus 1 upon 30. This is equal to 2 upon 63 plus 2. This is the LCM. 2 into 60 divided by 5. And this will be equal to 24. Therefore, average speed, this is equal to 24 meter per second. Students, just have a look over the result of this example, that the average speed during the whole journey which we were expecting as 25 meter per second. It is not 25, it is 24 meter per second. And there is only and only one formula, and that is total distance upon total time. Now what will be average velocity? Second, average velocity. So this is V average and magnitude of this. And this is total displacement upon total time. This is the magnitude of average velocity. Here the body moves from A to B and then comes back to A. So the total displacement is 0. Okay. So this is 0 upon, let the total time is t. So this is 0. So the average velocity is 0. Now I hope you understand these two terms, average speed and average velocity, are totally different terms. Okay. And one is total distance by total time and another one is total displacement by total time. These two terms may be equal only and only when the body moves in a straight line path. No, this is not true. Here the body is moving in straight line path. It is going A to B and coming B to A. Okay. So here you cannot say these two terms are equal. These are different. The average speed is 24 and the average velocity is 0. Now the fifth term is instantaneous speed and instantaneous velocity. Instantaneous means speed at a particular instant, at a particular time. Okay, so instantaneous speed is speed at a particular time and instantaneous velocity is velocity at a particular time. Let a body move like this, A to B. Okay, the body is at point A at time t1 and it is at point B at time t2. Then what is the time interval? The time interval is, or the total time taken is, this time interval, which is, I am writing here delta t, and this is equal to t2 minus t1. Okay, this minus this time minus this time, t2 minus t1. This is the time interval. We know that what is average speed is total distance d upon total time. Total time is t2 minus t1 and it is delta t. Okay. If I say that the body is at this point, the body moves from A to this point, the time interval will decrease. If the body moves from A to this point, the time interval will decrease further. If the body moves from A to this, the time interval will decrease further. If the body moves from A to this, the time interval is again has decreased and it is very small. If I say now that this time interval delta t tends to 0, this time interval is very small. It means the body is at point A. Okay? If the time interval is very small, the body is at a particular point, right? And then this average speed will be called instantaneous speed. I will write that what will be instantaneous speed? V. The symbol for instantaneous speed is V. I will not put AV here. It will be D, total distance, upon the time interval is delta t. I will make a condition that this delta t tends to 0. This time interval is very small. Okay. And then it will be equal to, this distance will be also small, very small. And this small distance will be delta d. Right. And in mathematics, it is written as dd upon dt. It is differentiation of distance with respect to time. Okay. So what is instantaneous speed? It is dd by dt. or it may be written as ds by dt in straight line path. That is, instantaneous speed is rate of, it is called rate of change of distance. d by dt is rate of change of distance. Now average velocity is this average velocity. This is magnitude of average velocity. It is magnitude of total displacement divided by total time interval. And again, if this time interval is very small, this is delta t, this is the time interval. If this time interval is very small, then this displacement will be also very small. This will be delta s by delta t, right? If I put a condition that this delta s by delta t, this is magnitude of small displacement, the condition is this time interval is very small, delta t tends to 0, then this quantity is called instantaneous velocity and it is v. This is magnitude of v, and this is written mathematically as ds by dt, or it is also written as dr by dt. In general, this instantaneous velocity is ds by dt or dr by dt. Here I have calculated magnitude, and here I have written this term in its vector form. It means, what is instantaneous velocity? It is rate of change of displacement. And the last term, sixth term, is average acceleration and instantaneous acceleration. The term acceleration is connected with change in velocity. Students, remember that whenever there is change in velocity, there will be acceleration. And the average acceleration this is written as a small a. This is a vector quantity, and average acceleration is, this is equal to total change in velocity, I put it delta v, upon total time interval, and this is delta t. And what is instantaneous acceleration? Instantaneous acceleration, as we calculated instantaneous velocity and speed, the same condition will be applied here. It will be delta v, total change in velocity, upon total time interval delta t, and this time interval is very small, this is tending to 0, and it is dv by dt. That is, a is dv by dt. This is acceleration at a particular time. So it is what? This a is rate of change of velocity. In straight line motion or in one-dimensional motion, I may write here that a is rate of change of speed. In part 2, we will do some numerical work on this terminology. There should be no other definition in your mind except the definition I have given to you through this lecture. Okay? Thank you very much, students. Read this part 1 carefully and follow my part 2. Thank you very much.